Okay, let's just dive right in. Imagine this. NASA makes an official announcement, right? And it sounds completely like science fiction.
Right.
They're talking about confirmed hidden portals in Earth's magnetic field. I mean, it sounds pretty
It
unbelievable.
really does. But the key thing is, this comes from official NASA sources. It's not just some fringe idea.
Exactly. And when you hear something like hidden portals, your mind immediately goes places like the question you sent in.
Yeah, asking if maybe the weird stuff happening at Skinwalker Ranch could somehow be, you know, linked to this.
Precisely. That question really gets to the heart of it. So, our mission today for this deep dive is to unpack what these magnetic portals actually are.
Starting with the science.
Yes, the real science behind how they were found. And then we'll look at how some sources connect them speculatively, of course, to things like UFOs or even like grand ideas about interstellar travel.
But we'll stick strictly to what's in the sources we looked at.
Absolutely. We'll lay out the confirmed science first and then explore the theories built on top of that foundation.
Sounds like a plan.
So, the hard science, that's the starting point. One source really highlights this. Back in 2012, Dr. Tony Phillips from Science at NASA reported on the confirmed existence. These weren't just theoretical anymore.
And they even knew who figured out how to find them.
Yeah, Jack Scudder, a plasma physicist from the University of Iowa, NASA-funded researcher. So this is grounded in serious work.
Definitely. It wasn't just a guess. They had data.
So can you tell us a bit more about what these things are, scientifically speaking?
Sure. The technical terms are X points, or electron diffusion regions.
Okay, next points.
What's really mind-bending is that these are actual places where Earth's magnetic field connects directly to the sun's magnetic field.
Wait, directly, like a physical connection.
That's how the sources describe it.
Yeah.
An uninterrupted path leading from our planet all the way to the sun's atmosphere.
93 million miles away.
Yep. One description just calls it a portal that connects the sun to the Earth. Pretty evocative language.
That's staggering, just thinking about what that means, a direct line.
And it's not like it's a permanent fixture either. The sources say observations from NASA's Themis spacecraft and Europe's cluster probes first hinted they were there.
Okay.
And the really fascinating part, they open and close dozens of times each day.
Dozens of times. So they're flickering in and out of existence, sort of.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And they tend to be found maybe a few tens of thousands of kilometers up, right where our magnetic field pushes against the solar wind.
Okay, so if they're opening and closing constantly, are they all the same, or are there different kinds?
Good question. The sources do make a distinction. They say most of them are small and short-lived.
Right.
They open, they close very quickly, like appearing and disappearing as needed, almost like little transient connections.
Okay, so those are the small ones, but you mentioned bigger impacts.
Exactly. There are also some that are described as vast and sustained.
Ah, okay. And those are the ones causing effects we might notice.
Precisely. These are the big conduits. They allow tons of energetic particles from the sun to just stream directly towards Earth.
Tons of particles, wow.
And that inflow of energy is what leads to things like the upper atmosphere heating up or triggering geomagnetic storms.
And the auroras, like the northern lights.
Exactly. Those beautiful polar auroras, they're a direct result of this kind of interaction, powered by these larger sustained portals.
It's genuinely incredible to think about these massive, invisible structures influencing our planet like that. So naturally, my next thought is, what did NASA do next? Did they just, note it down and move on?
Oh, definitely not. They announced plans pretty quickly to study them more closely, sending probes up specifically designed to look at this.
Ah, okay. A dedicated mission.
Yeah, the MMS. That's the Magnetospheric Multiscale Mission. It was supposed to launch in 2014, actually went up in 2015.
Okay, so it launched. What did it find? Have they been sharing the results?
Well, this is where it gets a bit interesting. One of our sources specifically notes that the findings from MMS have been, quote, very hush, very secret.
Hush, hush. Really? Why would they?
Well, the source speculates. It suggests maybe NASA is trying to send a probe into one of these portals.
Into one, like in the movies.
Yeah, the source draws a direct comparison to the film Stargate, which, fuels that kind of speculation.
I can see why, but I mean, how would you even do that? You said they're invisible, unstable.
Right, elusive. They open and close without warning. No signposts, the source says.
So it sounds almost impossible to target one.
It's a huge challenge, but NASA is apparently working on ways to create those signposts. They're looking back at older data.
Older data from what?
From the NASA Polar spacecraft. It orbited Earth back in the late 90s.
Okay.
Apparently, it flew through lots of these X points, even if they didn't fully grasp what they were seeing back then.
Hmm.
So that old data is now, like, super valuable for figuring out how to find them now.
Right, so they're learning from past encounters. Okay, so the science is solid. NASA confirmed them. They're studying them, even if some results are kept quiet.
Undeniably.
But this is where things take that turn, right? Because a discovery like this doesn't happen in a vacuum. People start connecting dots,
Especially when you have these long-standing mysteries.
like the big one. If there are other advanced civilizations out there, how could they possibly visit us?
Yeah, the sheer distances are just immense.
Hmm.
Hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of light years. And Earth is kind of,
Out in the cosmic boonies, as one source put it.
exactly. So how do you bridge that gap? It's a fundamental problem for interstellar travel ideas.
And these portals, according to some theories in our sources, offer a potential solution.
They're presented as a mechanism, yeah. A way to maybe bend or manipulate space-time.
Allowing travel across, what, hundreds of light years in a nanosecond? That sounds like warp drive stuff.
Pretty much. The implication, as one source put it, is that ideas like wormholes, stargates, portals, they're not just pure sci-fi anymore. There's now a potential physical basis being discussed linked to this NASA discovery.
Okay, so that's the travel theory. How does it connect to actual sightings? UFOs and things people report seeing?
Well, the sources suggest these portals would make perfect sense for explaining some UFO reports.
How so?
Think about how UFOs are often described: appearing suddenly out of nowhere or vanishing instantly.
Right, just blinking in and out.
Exactly. The idea is that objects could be seen opening up or coming out of these portals or entering them, appearing and disappearing just like that.
And it's not just witness accounts, right? There's mention of footage.
Yeah, one source specifically mentions NASA footage above the Earth from the STS missions, the space shuttle.
What does it supposedly show?
It's described as showing a literal highway of activity. Objects appearing, changing speed or direction, suddenly vanishing again, moving towards or away from the atmosphere.
A highway of activity. And there was one specific video mentioned too.
Yes, the favorite piece of video footage. It's described as infrared video taken over thunderstorms.
Infrared. Okay,
Yeah.
what's seen?
These dark black, almost blobs appearing. Then a very large object flies down, locks position, and moves with the Earth.
Locks position with the Earth.
Yeah. And then also a triangular formation of objects seen on the horizon. The source interprets these visuals as looking like holes or portals opening up.
Okay, so that's the interpretation offered for that specific footage. Interesting.
Now, just circling back briefly to your original question about Skinwalker Ranch,
Right, the listener's question.
it's worth noting, while one source starts by posing that connection as a possibility,
It doesn't really follow up on it.
no. As the discussion in that source goes on, it doesn't provide any more details or evidence directly linking the phenomena at the ranch to these specific magnetic portals. So it remains just an open question raised by the source itself.
Got it. So an intriguing idea, but not something substantiated within the material we looked at.
Correct.
You know, it's kind of strange. Thinking back, this announcement about the portals, it feels like it should have been massive news.
You'd think so.
But our sources point out it was passed by very quickly. Very little media coverage.
Yeah, which is odd considering one source calls it one of the most astounding and important discoveries of our lifetimes.
Astounding feels like the right word. Why would it get so little attention?
Hard to say for sure. Maybe it was too abstract, too sci-fi sounding for mainstream news. Or maybe, as some speculate, there were reasons to keep it lower profile.
And that source, the one calling it astounding, it ends with a pretty bold statement, doesn't it?
It does. It essentially says, look, we now have confirmation of these portals, and we have footage and images from space and Earth,
Proving what, according to them?
proving that this activity, objects appearing, disappearing, moving, strangely exists, and that, quote, we are being visited and have been for quite a long time.
Wow. That's directly linking the scientific fact of the portals to the conclusion of ongoing visitation.
It's a powerful assertion made of that material, yeah.
Oh.
Directly connecting the dots.
So reflecting on all this, it's quite a journey. We start with confirmed, peer-reviewed science from NASA about these X points, these magnetic connections to the sun, real phenomena.
Absolutely. Tangible science.
And then we see how that discovery becomes a foundation or maybe a launch pad for these really profound and definitely speculative ideas about interstellar travel, about explaining UFOs, about potential visitation.
It really shows how a breakthrough in physics can suddenly intersect with these Much more mysterious, long-standing questions.
Yeah,
Pushes boundaries.
it absolutely does. Which kind of leaves us and you listening with a final thought to chew on, doesn't it?
Seems like it.
If our own planet naturally has these invisible, fleeting magnetic pathways linking us directly to the sun,
Pathways we didn't even know about until relatively recently.
right, then what other kinds of fundamental connections, what other pathways or maybe even dimensions might exist right here in our solar system or even on Earth itself? Things that our current science just hasn't detected or understood yet.
It certainly opens up possibilities, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what else is hidden in plain sight.